Yeah. But I got my vlogging camera out.
Oh, what camera did you get? I need to get a camera too.
I just got
just start recording random stuff and try editing things and see if it will work.
Yeah, so basically, now that I have you on the phone, right?
Yes, Nathan. Yeah, go on.
So, what I had in mind was, if you can talk to me about, briefly, right? I've been thinking about what I could talk about, what we could talk about. And, but why is it good to have God in your life? Especially as we're now heading into the new year, 2018. You know, I just feel a lot of stuff is going to happen this year, and a lot of my friends have been saying the same thing. Not this year, sorry, next year. So like,
yeah.
Why do you think it's important?
Why do I think it's important to have God in our lives?
Yeah.
Especially as we're going into the new year.
Yeah.
Well, I think, we need him to kind of stay motivated, to be honest, because I think that's one thing that kind of carried me out throughout this year. Yeah, just knowing that there's someone there, like, rooting you on. I think for me, that's what I learned this year.
How does God motivate you? When you mean God motivated you, or he's been motivating you, do you mean like just like in your education?
Yes, especially because that's one thing I don't have motivation for.
Oh,
no, seriously, because in my education especially, and also like I think for me when it came to like finding a job as well, because I don't know, it just happened in a really strange way this year. Like I'm really thankful for it, because it has allowed me to build connections which I see might actually end up being helpful in the future. So in that way. Yeah, in that way, because, like, for example, like, during the summer, that I applied for a job, but the job didn't work out, but then another door opened, and that one turned out to be a lot more better than the one that I actually applied for. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, when I didn't get the job, I didn't feel sad or anything. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what these people are going to offer. And it turned out to be a lot better, so, yeah. I think that's why it's important to have God in your life, because if, let's say, for example, if I went into that job and I found out that I wasn't going to get that job, I would have felt really discouraged. But because I knew that I had God in my life, I knew that something else was coming. Like, he's not just going to bring something up just to shut it down. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely get that.
Exactly.
And the reason why I would I can relate to having the whole job thing, like praying for a job, because like I went for a job. I think I told you, and at the third interview, I basically said, Lord, like, I'm not going to prepare for this interview, Lord. If it's mine,
exactly.
And
there
if
you
it's
go.
not mine, then I won't get upset about it. I didn't prepare for it. And it was like a 2-hour interview, and I got the job. And then from that, then I can see God like ordering my footsteps in my job.
Exactly. Like when you see those people who basically say that God will make you qualified for a job you're not qualified for, it really makes sense. Because like most interviews that I've went into were unprepared, and I did end up getting them.
Yeah.
Apart from that one, I did not prepare for that one, but something even better came along. So, yeah, it's really interesting. Like, if you just go, and that's another thing as well about job interviews, just go the way that God made you. Just go with the personality that you have. Yeah. And it's either they'll like you or they won't, but most of the time they will like the person that you truly are, because people like authentic people.
Yeah.
I
think it's important to have God in your life because he just guides you in life. If you're someone that I know that you are, but if you're someone that always prays to God and talks to God, like he will actually guide you and direct you.
Exactly.
And you'll know what not to do. You'll know what job not to look for. I don't know why we talk about jobs, but yeah.
Exactly. And I've noticed that, like, with when it comes to jobs as well, like if a job comes a little bit too easily and too quickly, then you might need to question it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like God wants to prepare something for you, but make you wait a little bit. But then the devil's like, oh, here's a job that you're going to be interested in. You have to do this, and this in order to get it. Yeah. But it's going to come really quickly. Here you go. Do you want it or not? And sometimes you just have to decline those.
Exactly. And what you should do even before or while you're looking for a job is saying, Lord, guide me into the right career you want me to be in at this moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah. And you will know as well, like with everything, it's like you get a knowing. You get a knowing whether or not to go to accept or not accept a certain job. Like with me, obviously I've been financially struggling lately, but I had to decline a job because I just felt like it wasn't really the right job for me. And I remember asking you as well, because I was really unsure about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, this I don't think this is right. So yeah, I'm happy I declined it, because that bus journey, I looked at the bus journey after and I was just like, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah. And the other reason why for me it's important to have God in my life, especially coming into the new year, is because he gives you wisdom and he gives you peace. I mean, I've told you in the past how God has literally told me I need to make things right with whoever I've fallen out with, even if it didn't feel right, but there's been a benefit in that.
Yeah, because it gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Like, you don't... Yeah, I was literally thinking about this today. Like, you don't feel angry at that person or anything. Like, because if you think about it, the root of it is actually unforgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like, you not wanting to make up with that person is... Yeah, the root of it is unforgiveness. And if you kind of just, like, let it go, then it's always going to be there. And I was saying to myself, like, if you didn't make up with certain people, then, like, in a worst case scenario, you can get to the point where even, like, their face makes you angry, a picture of them makes you angry, their name makes you angry, someone else bringing them up makes you angry, or someone associated to them just brings back all of those memories and makes you angry. So, yeah, the best thing to do is really to make up with people.
Yeah. So.
But not force yourself. Just, like, gradually ease into it.
So how okay, so for example, there's a scripture how can we learn how to forgive?
How can you learn how to forgive?
Yeah.
I say one of the best ways to learn how to forgive is to talk to the other person. And the Bible literally says if you have an issue with someone, you go to them and you talk to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's honestly the best way to do it, because then it's like you and that person are having an open dialogue. So it kind of like breaks down this wall of misunderstanding, because you're finally opening up to that person. They can hear what you're trying to say, and you can also hear what they're trying to say, but just come at them from a point of view of you trying to understand them and you expressing how you feel and how that person made you feel. And also going into it without being defensive, because most people would go into a conversation like that saying, you did this to me, you did that That's it. But if you go into it in that way, like no one is the other person's not going to end up listening to you because you're coming to them in a defensive manner.
Yeah.
And they're going to think, oh well, you're just an entitled person. I'm not going to continue speaking to you because you don't want to hear what I have to say. I said, how would you deal with forgiveness? How would you deal with unforgiveness? And how do you get to the point of forgiveness with people?
I think it goes back to what you said. You have to go back to that person and settle the matter. You have to, because for me it's like, if I have an issue with you, I'd say, okay, look, I forgive you. I understand why you did it, but what you did hurt me. And hopefully you would be like, yes, Nathan, I understand, etc., etc. But we also need to remember as well the tone that we set, which is what you went to, because in the Bible it says that there is power in your tongue of life and death. Yeah. So, but the way I would forgive and the way that helps me to forgive is one, talking to other people that are like-minded like you, and also reading the Word. And looking at scriptures about forgiveness. Yeah,
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, because you start understanding things from other people's point of view, especially since like sometimes it's hard to communicate to other people who do not want to hear messages about forgiveness or do not want to go through the process with you. Like, you know, those people who think they're always right, and
you know what,
they cannot be wrong. Like, with those type of people, it's hard to speak to them. So yeah, going into the Word does help to kind of understand like the way that they are, and then that way you can kind of take it up to God yourself.
I'll take it to the next level though, because it also says in the Bible that if I can't forgive you, then God won't forgive me. So it kind of, if you keep that in mind as well, it kind of helps you to kind of forgive quick, not straight away, because it is hard to forgive because we're human, we're flesh. But it's something that is required of us, that we need to forgive. It sets us free, but it can also set someone else free also.
But what if that person's not a Christian?
What? Should I still forgive them?
That's true.
No, is that what you're asking me?
But what if that person just does not? Because forgiveness does sound sweet. Like, if only you can go up to the other person and speak to them. But, like, what if someone does not want to speak to you at all? Like, how do you then choose to forgive that person? Like, how do you forgive someone who does not?
Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to still talk to that person. If they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you. But you have to let them know that you forgive them. And
how do you let them know if they've blocked you?
Well, you're gonna have to pray on that one, innit? Because if you can't contact them, then you can't contact them. But see, you've got a point. I'll use my example, right? A friend that I wanted forgiveness from, I couldn't get a hold of. And it's funny because God said to me, wait on this road for this person and you will see the person in the bus. And I saw this person in the bus and I literally ran after the bus, took a shortcut to meet this person at the bus stop. And that was my time to kind of say, look, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? So it's just pray about it and seek God about it. And
That's true.
And everything, the Bible says that all things work together for the good that love the Lord. So if you love God, you know, it will work out somehow. It will work out. So I guess that's the end of this YouTube video because my camera is getting a bit hot.
But I think forgiveness is the most effective when two people agree.
Oh, there's a scripture about that.
Is there?
Agree, yeah. How can two agree unless... Oh, never mind.
Oh, I think I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, you know that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll spin up. There's scriptures today.
Isn't that one about what do you call it?
I might be getting the context wrong there.
It might be. Wait, isn't that kind of like about being unequally yoked with people? Isn't that the context of what that verse
That might be it.
is?
That might be it. If anyone's watching this and you know what that scripture is, just put it in the comment section. But I can't. Yeah, I think I've got it wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna be out. Guys. Najo is out. Elsa will be hopefully making YouTube videos soon. You know, get things launching in Jesus' name.
September next year, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, so can two walk together without agreeing? Wait, no, I don't like that version. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Is that what it says?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this one talks about Amos 3:2. You only have I chosen among all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. Okay, never mind. It doesn't.
Whoops. All right, guys, we're out. Najo's out.